Welcome to the Music Room. I'm Big Al. Wow, now you just heard a sample of the musical guest, the Midnight Rendezvous. Now we're going to interview these guys, see what they're made of. We're going to go out, do a little video, watch them play a song. That's later on in the show. But for now, we're concentrating on mixing, multi-track recording, and writing a song. So let's get to it. Now first off, we have a MSR 16 track made by Tascam. Now this has a Dolby S noise reduction system in it. They developed this so that the analog, which is a reel-to-reel, will sound as clean as digital, but still have that nice warm feeding. So this is one of those sought-after machines, and this is what we're going to be using today to show you the multi-track recording experience. Now these tapes, it's a magnetic tape. They run around $100 to $150. It's a 1/2 inch, so it gives you a pretty good gap between each one of these tracks. If the tracks are too close together, then what happens is you get bleed through and it goes on to another track. So we don't want that. So this machine works good for us. Now next up, we're going to have our mixing board. Now what we have here, this is the Tascam M3500. It's a 32 track or 32 channel board. It's a studio board. Now I know it looks a lot more complicated than what it is, but you got to remember that each one of these channels does the same function. Now one of the most important things is your EQ section. Now if you look up here, this is our EQ section. We have 6 bands, but it's not actually 6 bands because some of these are sweeps. Now what a sweep is it takes your whole EQ section and it moves the whole range up and down. So instead of just moving within a range and turning that knob, you're able to sweep it or move that whole range up and down. It just gives you a lot more leadway in case you have problems in a mix or something, you're able to correct that. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is our sends. So what happens is you plug into one channel and you send that channel down here. Now these are called 8 sub-outs. And what these do is tell the recording or the noise that I'm making which track to go on our machine. So if I want to record onto track 1, I would simply raise this up and then it would read on my meter over on the reel-to-reel. Now what this is a compressor noise gate limiter. What you're basically doing is you're trying to take all this big sound and you want to squish it down onto this little tape. So in order to do that and maintain your sound, you have to use what's called a compressor. And that's what this machine right here is. And also it's equipped with a limiter. And what the limiter does is it allows you to limit how much of that music is going onto that tape. So if you have things that pop or loud bangs and stuff like that, this machine will absorb that and keep it from going on the tape. Kind of makes it smoothed right out. Okay, the next thing is the noise gate in it. The noise gate is very, very crucial to any mix because everything that you record is going to have noise in it, especially your guitars. When you get on those high distortion and those full range guitar things, my God, you're going to have all kinds of noise. So what the noise gate does is it gets rid of that noise and you set your threshold, which is the amount of noise that it takes to make this gate open. So once that's set, the noise or your sound won't come on until you hit your first note. So it makes it perfectly quiet for you. So that's a crucial instrument or device to maintain good recording. Next thing we're going to talk about is this here. This is a BBE Sonic Maximizer. Now what this machine does is it takes all your lows and all your highs and it balances them out. So when you're going like this, making a wave, going back and forth like this wave is, okay? What that machine is going to do is take all those frequencies and it's going to smooth them right out. That way it balances your highs and your lows, which is really crucial to radio airplay. Because otherwise, when it gets down to the stereo, you won't be able to add your independent bass or treble or custom tune it to your ears. And that's what you want. You want the customer or the person buying your product to be able to tune that thing in the way they want it. So if you do it on the recording, that leaves nobody else any room to manipulate it how they like it. I'd like to talk to you about microphones and microphone placement. These are Shure Betas
Now, they're one of the best in the industry. They only run between $125, $150. Now, this one here is a unidirectional microphone. As you can see, it has a ball on it, and it's made for singing and picking up a wide range of items. So you get a big sound with it. Now, this one here is a 57. Now, what it is a directional microphone. Now, what that's going to do is pick up one sound coming from one instrument. And it works very well on guitar and tom-toms and things like that, where you only want to individualize that thing and you don't want a big group of sound. Okay, so let's walk over here and we're going to talk about the placement of the microphone. When you purchase a microphone of any kind of quality, it's going to come with this. You know what this is? This is the owner's manual. Yeah, this is the thing that nobody takes a bother to read. And it's going to tell you the microphone placement within inches of each kind of instrument or vocals, whichever you're doing. So if you look on here, you'll see, I'm sure you can't zoom in on this thing, but if you can see it says woods down here. You come up here, you got guitar and bass, amplification, snare drum. Everything is a different placement. So on guitar, you're going to come about 1 inch to 1.75 inches away from the center of your speaker cone. And that's going to give you a nice rich sound. As you move this microphone outward, it's going to get bassier. Move it inward, it's going to have more trouble. So what you got to do is use your own preference, place your microphone, turn on your PA system, and try to match the sound coming out of your amp and the sound coming out of the PA system, so you have uniform sound. Now also, if you have too much noise coming from your guitar, too much distortion, that kind of thing, getting a lot of sound, you can always put a blanket, an actual blanket, put one blanket in front of it, check your sound again. If it's not enough muffle to it, add another blanket. But today's amps, they have a lot of big preamps and different things in them, so sometimes you have to cut it down just a little bit.
Okay, folks, now if you follow me down here, I'm going to show you what we mix down onto. Now, these are called DAT machines, which is a digital audio tape, kind of self-explanatory. And we can turn one on here for you. And what this does is it goes down onto 2 tracks, and they'll go from this DAT onto your CD. So this is basically going to be your master copy of whatever you want to do. And we just open that bugger up, but you can see it just takes a little bitty tape in it, and they're quite expensive too, I might say. So you don't want to make too many mistakes on them. So you want to be able to get a good mix. You go onto this DAT machine, and then from the DAT machine, you want to go onto your CD. And that's all there is to it. Now that we've explained the crucial aspects of recording and the machines that you need, let's go up here and make a song. Okay, now this is a little song that I just composed, and we're going to take and break it down from you and show you exactly how all the components work together. So if you come up here and follow me up here onto the board, we're going to return our machine to 0. That's going to be a little easier for me to stand up here because that's where everything is at. So let's take a look at it. These are our separated tracks that are going to be coming back from our machine. So what we have here is we have a drum track, we have our cymbal tracks, we have our vocal tracks, we have our guitar tracks, we have our bass tracks, and anything else that you want to add in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut these tracks off individually and show you the process. Now what these are is my mute buttons. I'm going to push these mute buttons all the way down like this to where there's nothing on. Then we'll come up here, and what we're going to do is show you the guitar track to start with. And this is just the guitar track by itself. Okay, now what we're going to do is add another guitar to that same track playing a harmony.